How's that for YouTube thumbnail face? My couple asked for raw files, and here is what happened. I gave them the raw files, and then they were happier. I also charged for it, free bonus money, and now I'm a little bit happier. That might sound crazy, but I gave my couple all the regular edited photos that I would usually deliver, and then I sent them the raws a few days later. It wasn't the first time either. Of the 1,000 weddings I have photographed in my career, probably 60 or 70 of them I've given raw files to. So it's not a huge percentage, but anytime someone has asked, I've been happy to give them the raws. Before I do it though, I ask my couples a few questions, and we'll get to those questions in just a moment. First up though, the reasons photographers typically don't give out the raw files. Number one, quality control. Unprocessed, straight out of camera images usually require editing, unless you're shooting Fuji or Nikon. Wow, look at those Nikon straight out of camera files from my ZF. So nice. But there's a good chance that straight out of camera images won't represent the final work that you display as your portfolio and on social media. Number two, professional integrity. Your edited images are a skill that takes years and years to develop. I guess unless you're using just AI editing. Link down below. Get started with Imagen 1,500 free edits. It is part of the artistic vision, and raw files can be seen as unfinished work, and they don't represent the photographer's final vision. Number three, copyright and usage rights. Raw files are considered copyright and intellectual property of the photographer most of the time. It's important to maintain control over how the work is used and distributed. You don't want those couples uploading your full gallery to Shutterstock and making 14 cents per month off the work that you did. Although we'll talk about how you avoid problems in a few minutes. Number four, file sizes. Raw files are big, and if you're shooting a full wedding, you're probably going to end up shipping them a hard drive, which is also why it costs more money. Number five, client confusion. A lot of couples don't really know what they're asking for when they ask for raw files, and this leads me into the questions that I ask my couples. Or I guess it usually comes up pretty naturally in the first meeting or a pre-wedding meeting. If both or one of the partners is a photographer and understands what a raw file really is, I have no further questions. If they're not photographers, they're probably not really asking for raw files. They're probably just asking for unedited JPEGs. And your couples aren't asking you this out of any sort of malicious intent. This could actually come from a few places. The main one is mostly that they just want to see everything that they didn't see at their wedding, regardless of the quality. They don't really care. And I think that sounds very reasonable. The second is what happened to me a lot in the early years, and it's that they just didn't really have much trust in me. And I guess I should also mention I came up in 2004, 2005, before proper social media, so people could literally find me on my website or on MySpace if they didn't know me in real life, which means there was no video content, no Instagram back catalog of years of existing as a person. They were really trusting in internet random to show up. All couples wanted to do an in-person meeting at that time. Now it's a lot more phone or maybe Zoom calls. And also, fun fact about that time period, I had to print my directions to weddings off of MapQuest because the first iPhone didn't come out for a few years. And yes, I had to walk uphill both ways in a snowstorm to every single wedding. Also, Google Maps with traffic is my favorite update to my life as a wedding photographer. The third option they're asking for raws is that if they've already seen the edited photos, they just might not like your edit. And this is maybe an indirect way of them asking if you're comfortable doing a re-edit on the images. So use this as an opportunity to be like, if you don't like the edit, I can edit in these other styles, use some of your other presets that are a little bit different, send them some samples, ask if there is something that they would prefer. And in a lot of cases, you're able to just sync those color preferences across the entire board, and it's not actually really that much additional editing for you. It's just kind of done. And then it turns out they didn't even want the raw files. They just wanted a different edit that they were going to try to do themselves and post on social media. Usually if this is a concern, it's a good reason to do an engagement session, especially if you're in the younger years of your business, and also just to generate more work that you're doing to promote yourself more. And typically any editing concerns will come out at that point and you'll be able to fix them, and then for the wedding day, you'll be both on the same page. So couples asking for raw files, it's because they just want to see everything from the day. Maybe they feel like something was left out, or if it's in advance, maybe there's some sort of trust imbalance, or it could come down to the edit not being their favorite, not because they're going to put all of your unedited images up on TikTok and tell everyone they paid $10,000 for this work. And if that is an honest concern, there's probably more that can be done in the relationship management section with the couple. You could also have them sign something that outlines the terms that they're allowed to use these images for. Not to ever get into a legal battle, but just to make sure you and your couple are on the exact same page with usage. And then, when you send them the raw files, there is a 100% chance that they are going to be completely overwhelmed with how many files it is, and they are never going to do anything with it. I would suspect that this has happened with pretty much every single wedding that I've ever given raw files to. So I guess I'm a small percentage of the industry, but I choose to say yes, and I choose to say yes for a price if it's something that is important to my clients. And that's all for my thoughts here. Now, if you hate Wedding Wire and you want a better way to generate new inquiries, I'll put a link down below. The new inquiries isn't even the cool part. The cool part is that you also get assigned a studio manager that will respond to these new inquiries and actually book you work. They're a real human from the Focal team, and they are properly trained in sales, which means they're a heck of a lot better at it than I am. Personally, I've already booked 5 weddings from this program, but others have booked 10 to 15 new weddings in over the past 2 months. And it works whether you are year 1 into business or year 10 into business. The only catch is you have to be a good photographer. Use the link down below to apply. Goodbye.